who made coming here tonight a priority. I don't know all of their capabilities, and not to judge their capabilities, but they're here tonight showing you, the returning citizens, that you are a priority to them. That's why they showed up. That country boy thing, the way my head is wired, says, if they made it a priority, if they made Returning Citizens Forum tonight a priority, that means it was important to them. And people who aren't here, ... What we will do now, and Denise, so since the candidates started from that end to give the 2-minute speech, let's start from this end for the questioning. So we'll quick question Mr. Barry first, if the rest of you might go into the room. And again, the way this process is working is there's one candidate is going to be interviewed so that you can hear their unvarnished, uninterrupted comments, and the other candidates cannot. The purpose of that was, so many times you do the debates, you have these panels, one candidate says something, and then all the other candidates say the exact same thing, or steal. So this way we're trying to prevent from anyone plagiarizing anyone else. It's all, they're doing it independent and giving you their views, not someone who just spoke before them. Okay. Can you hear okay? Okay. So, folks, if we can have your attention, please, we want to start. They're out here saying, okay. Mr. Barry.
Yes, sir.
Have you done anything to help the returning citizen population? And if you could specifically tell us why you are the best candidate to address the issues of the returning citizen population?
I understand firsthand the struggles of returning citizens. My career working with returning citizens began with Ceasefire Don't Smoke the Brothers in 2005. As a small business owner, I've hired well over 100 returning citizens. Many of them just coming home, just hours coming home. I've seen the transition, how giving them opportunities that otherwise won't be available to them directly affects their lives and gives them an alternative lifestyle. Many of them have never worked an honest job or done anything in the private sector or work construction or anything. Most of these guys are just used to being on the streets, so giving them a chance to do something different actually lets them know parts of themselves that they didn't know were there. Also, as working as a mentor in schools, I've always tried to prevent and get young men out of heading down that wrong path and into the wrong lifestyle. So I think I'm best qualified because of that.
The fastest growing population in the youth detention in DC is females, and their incarceration rate, detention rate, is up 30%. 70% of black women raise our children, which means this is an epidemic. How do we address this crisis?
Address this crisis first with prevention. We need a lot more fathers in the home before these young women go astray. We need more preventive programs. We always look at things after the fact. We can always quantify statistics, once people are locked up or once people are dead. How do we quantify solutions before the problem happens? I think working in the schools, working with young people, get them not in high school, but get them when they're 7 years old, 6 years old, when they're the most impressionable, when their mind is being developed. Working with these females, because a lot of females are pushed to be independent and be the head of the household, so a lot of them have to take chances and take risks that they normally wouldn't have to take if they had a man there to protect them. So, we have to just look at the community as a whole, at the big picture, and not just the stats and the numbers, but look at it from a human perspective.
Okay. Most returned citizens went to prison for selling drugs. So in a sense, they have experience as entrepreneurs with the wrong products to sell. What would you do to enhance this entrepreneurial spirit and give this particular population more opportunities to create businesses and sell legal products in DC?
First thing I would do is institute more programs in the prison. They have a lot of time on their hands. They have time to work and network and build and share ideas with each other. So I would have programs inside of the prison so that while they are incarcerated, they could get their business license and could, qualify and do the paperwork, have people come into the prison that could, take them through the steps that they would have to go through when they came home. Some of my best managers, supervisors were ex-drug dealers. You know how to handle money, you know how to handle people, which is important in any arena. Not just looking at them as though, are you a drug dealer? No, you're a businessman. You have a good mind. We need to find ways to use that and to capitalize on that.
Do you have or will you develop a plan for housing returning citizens? If so, what would that look like?
I think we need to change the halfway house model, not just as a prison on the streets, but making it something more as though they're more interactive with the community and doing more activities, more programs inside of that to where as though they're enhancing their education, enhancing employment opportunities, and also showing a lot of young people out here that there is rehabilitation within the prison system. And as far as the housing, I would also change the law to where as though felons aren't allowed to live in certain places. We don't need to break up families or break up houses, people trying to come and rebuild their lives. They need to have steps when they come back on the street that where as though they can actually pay their debt to society and rebuild their lives. So we have to give them the roads and the avenues to achieve that.
This is a yes or no question. Would you support a prison being built to house DC prisoners here in Washington, DC?
Yes, because too many of us are shipped all over the country, and a lot of people can't visit their families or their relatives. I wouldn't support a private prison built here in Washington, but I would support a prison, yes, in the district, yes, I would.
Okay. There have been many laws enacted against discrimination. What will be your policy approach to enforcing anti-discrimination laws as it applies to returning citizens?
I would amend the Human Rights Act of 1977, which would give criminal conviction a protected status, just as you can't discriminate based on age, race, or gender. It should also be your criminal past or something like so I would work hard to amend the Human Rights Act of 1977.
Thank you. We'll take the next, if we can get Sheila Bunn, please.